Why did I stop being a chef and turn into a gym bro? I went from being the lowly virgin chef, no good, sad, depressed, driving all the time, making no money, to becoming a Chad gym bro, making lots of money. I can stay home whenever I want, even though I have a job, and I'm happy 24/7. What caused this change? Why did I go from being a chef to being a gym bro? The truth is that it goes back to 2021. So back in 2021, I was very not happy. I liked to cook, but I was kind of out of shape and a bit depressed or upset. The pandemic was happening around that time. I started working out because I wanted to get better. I wanted to be more fit, wanted to be more confident, wanted to be more like. So I developed a workout plan to get the athletic life. I wanted to be an athlete. And this is around the time, fitness was very important to me. And so was making money. This is around the time that, I started wanting to make more money and go out to the world and do more things. When you graduate from high school, like I did in 2021, there are always, this, that there are adults kind of asking you and wondering, what do you do with your life? What is the plan going forward? The thing is, I didn't really have a plan, but I did like cooking. And for a while, I did want to make cooking my actual career. Until I saw people like Andrew Tate, everyone making money online, and then I thought, I might want to do that. Because having more money is way more important than doing what you love. That's an entire video on Zoom. But I want to do that much more than doing what I love. And so I decided to make money the smart way, as I saw. I thought of it as a smart way to make money online, do things like, like technologically, and do things like that. So I went and did that, and it didn't exactly work. And this is when tensions were getting really high. My parents were asking me, hey, there's no plan for life. And so I decided, you know what, things are getting so bad in this household. I'm actually going to go live with my grandparents and go to school, culinary school. But the best part is that I didn't really have to pay a dime. For a book, maybe. But the school and my high school, I actually got a grant from them. They would pay for my chef outfit. They would pay for my tuition, everything. I just had to drive there, which is like an hour away from my house, but it's like 30 minutes from my grandparents' house. So I decided to go live with them because I was kind of sick of what was going on. So I went there, I went to school, and it looked like I was becoming a real chef. But the thing is, something about fitness just pulled me in. It was much more inspiring. And of course, when you cook a lot for family members, you're kind of known around as the chef guy, you're the guy who cooks, you're the guy who does all that stuff. Eventually, there are two sides of me. There was the chef side, and there was the fitness side. And what ended up happening was that I started to do the chef side less than the fitness side. This is the chef side, this is fit. So, what ended up happening was, school was so far away, and it's a lot of work, getting everything in your car, driving over there, going to school for 5 hours, and driving all the way home, driving to my grandparents' house. It was eventually too much, where I decided, I'm just going to go back home. And when I got back home, then I quit. I quit school. I stopped going to school. I stayed at home with my mother for about 3 or 4 months, and this was at the end of 2023. In April of 2024, I decided to get a job. I figured I may as well. And it was a job cooking for actually one of my family members' cousins. She actually owns a church, and so I decided to cook for the church. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. But what ended up happening was that I woke up in October of 2024. I, for some reason, just had this revelation. So from April of 2024 all the way to October, I was just sort of in limbo mode. This would be my zombie mode. I was just going through the motions of day in, day out. The job was okay, but chef wasn't really my calling. I wanted to get stronger. So, in October 2024, something just snapped. It was what I like to call a fuck this event. An FTE. A fuck this event is when your life is going so bad and so miserably that you eventually just can't take it. And the pain of trying to get better outweighs the pain of staying the same. So basically, you'd rather go up than down. This is my FTE. There's more to life than just this. And so that is when I decided, I'm going to actually pursue a career in business. But not business as in corporate, you imagine guys in suits. Business in the sense that I am actually going to learn. Because you see, the thing is, I forgot to mention earlier in the story, around the time before I went to school, I'd actually been trying a lot of business ideas. And most of them failed, and they didn't exactly work. As you do. But what was different this time is that I kind of woke up and I realized, when you're going to battle, you need the right armor. You need the right weaponry. And so, it sort of put it in perspective. There's a famous saying out there, the more you know, the less you know. Because the more you learn, the more you realize that there's so much that you don't know. And I realized at this point that business wasn't wrong. It's not that I was stupid. I was just ill-prepared. I didn't know much about business. And the thing is, I see a lot of people struggle with that, where they'll sort of hear about business, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, things like that, and they'll sort of dive into it. But the thing is, these things cannot be performed or done without proper practice and research. You have to know what you're doing before you go in. So, what I did for 6 months, I decided at the beginning of 2025, from January to June, I'm just going to read business books and just read a lot. So I actually started early in October. I got everything ready, I actually made myself a curriculum and started studying business. And this is why I tell so many people, they're trying to get into business now, they're doing things, and I appreciate their enthusiasm. But the thing is, you need to know what you're doing. Because if not, there is a danger that you can become discouraged. You right now, you're probably pumped up, fired up about business and what you want to do. But the thing is, it can happen to everybody. And the reason I'm so worried of it is because it happened to me. When I started my first business before going to college, I was so into it, I was putting everything, all my work into it, and it didn't come through. It didn't really work, and that sort of got me discouraged and down, thinking business is not for me. That is what kills most ambition in young entrepreneurs. They're fired up, they're pumped up, they go in, and they have a lot of passion. But the thing is, once that momentum stalls, they can get really, really discouraged and think, did I make the wrong decision? That could happen anywhere. It happened to me. And so, that is why I decided to learn a lot. And through learning, not just about business, about life, about economics, about the way the entire market works, I understand business so much more now. And the thing is, that's what led me to actually creating content and doing something I like. Not just what I love, but something that will make money, something that I'm into already. And so I'm not going to get discouraged if it doesn't work, because I'm already a fitness person anyway. So that is why I created my fitness channel. That's how I got into it. What I tell people like you and everyone else out there is that you need to learn first. You need to know what you're doing first. That is one of the biggest things that kills momentum, is when people go to the gym without a plan, is the same thing as starting a business without a plan. You don't know what you're doing, and so you need to learn. You need good curriculum. And that is the purpose of this channel. That is why I make this channel. That's why I make these videos. And I see a lot of people. I see the naysayers in the comments. It's fine, because those people, they either don't believe, they're either defers, or they're just ill-informed. And the thing is, you're not going to win just by running your head in and attacking the problem. You are going to win by attacking the problem, but with the right know-how. You need to know how to hit it so it falls. So I hope this video has actually helped you in me telling my story, my journey. Do not get discouraged. The thing you actually need is experience. And I'm not talking about time, years and years. I'm talking about just you need a set amount of time where you're going to learn as much as you can about this topic before you go in. And remember to stay the course and do not give up just because you're discouraged. Entrepreneurship is the best thing that you can do in modern day.